let's get down to business. I hate social media with the fire of 10,000 suns. No, 10 million suns. No, 10 trillion suns. Okay. No, not quite that much, but you get my point. It's vanity-based, it's shallow, it's pointless, it's obnoxious, it's inflammatory, and it's one of the leading causes of death annually after heart disease and the taste of fucking Cheerios. And yet despite this, I can't help but check my phone every 5 fucking minutes to see if I've gotten any notifications, because I'm also a massive fucking hypocrite with absolutely no social life. Regardless, my hatred for these platforms has only grown stronger over the past couple of months, and I'm now at a point where I feel that it is my duty to speak up for the good of my fellow Americans so that we may all reject the invasive demon that is social media in the hopes of restoring dignity and pride to this great nation. But not really, I'm just fucking bored and tired of sitting in bed and playing Balloon Tower Defense all day while I'm slowly eaten alive by the plague of dust mites that have overtaken our home. So at first I considered doing like a tier list video where I ranked the social media platforms from like best to worst. You know, like literally everybody else on the fucking planet. But then I realized that that might be just a tad bit too derivative. Because I'm a complete original and I've never stolen any ideas from anybody, including the format of this channel, which I completely came up with on my own. Plus, my main complaints are with what many would call the big 3 social media platforms. You know, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Because these are the ones that I use every single day. Well, and also TikTok. But I'm only talking about the social media platforms that I hate today, not the ones that I wish I could watch slowly and painfully burn before being banished to the realm of deep space, never to be seen by or heard from again by mankind. There's a difference, you know? So instead, what I've decided to do is to divide this video up into 3 different sections, each with a brief introduction where I say a few nice things about the platform. You know, I gotta be a gentleman. I gotta wine and dine the platforms before they get fucked. And then, just when the son of a bitch thinks everything's gonna be fine, everything's all sunshine and flowers, fine and dandy, bam! In for the jugular, in for the kill, total knockout.
Fatality.
So without further ado, let's proceed to our first victim. Facebook. The ailing old-timer of social media and the passion project of a socially awkward virgin trying desperately to impress his friends. Launched in 2004 by a man now classified as an endangered species of mud lizard, Facebook ultimately served as a sort of template for what modern social media would become. I mean, arguably, it was the first social media platform to become a household name. Well, unless you count MySpace. But let's face it, who gives a hot fuck about MySpace anymore? Nobody. I mean, and for what it's worth, Facebook does have some good qualities. And by good qualities, I mean like one single good quality. That being that almost everybody in every organization imaginable is on Facebook. Want to keep up with your local newspaper because national news right now just isn't interesting enough? They're on Facebook. Want to send your great aunt a virtual birthday card because you completely forgot to send a real one in the mail, and who the fuck under the age of 65 uses the snail mail anymore anyway? You bet your ass she's got a Facebook. Want to try to figure out who that asshole was behind you in line at the grocery store who kept trying to steal your canned pineapple when he thought you weren't looking despite the fact that he already had a cart full of canned pineapple and over-the-counter laxatives? Well, post it on Facebook. Somebody'll know who he is. Hell, maybe he's even on it himself. I mean, if it exists, there's a good chance it'll be on Facebook. I'm pretty sure this is a scientifically tested theory. And that is where the positives end. Let's start with the user interface. It's complete and utter dog shit. Facebook's user interface is about as well organized as the miscellaneous section at a Goodwill, and about as pleasant to look at as a bloated whale corpse rotting in the hot sun on a Florida beach and being slowly eaten away by a bunch of diseased vultures. There's buttons all over the place, the styling is inconsistent and outdated, and it just feels a little bit, how do I put this nicely, amateur. And I'm just talking about the web version here. The app version of it is so bloated and convoluted that it's a wonder that your grandmother knows how to use it at all. And in fact, most of the time, she doesn't. Meaning that she calls you at 9 a.m. on a Saturday after you've stayed up until 5 a.m. playing Minecraft with the boys to ask you how to get rid of those damn numbers that are on her home screen, even though you've already told her approximately 3 million times how to do so. Oh, did I also mention that Facebook Messenger is a completely separate app from Facebook that she also doesn't know how to use and that also gets a ridiculous amount of notifications? Why? Even worse than the butt-ugly user interface, though, even worse than the usability, or really lack thereof, is the Facebook community. And in particular, a section of the community that I like to refer to as hyperusers. What is a hyperuser, you ask? Well, you see, it's pretty self-explanatory. Facebook hyperusers are people on Facebook that simply don't know how and when to shut the fuck up. This means that they post everything, and I do mean everything, that they either happen to stumble across or think up at 3 a.m. for everybody to see, regardless of whether or not it actually makes any fucking sense. And there are all different kinds of hyperusers too, most of which can be grouped either based on their generation, ideology, or both. You've got your edgelord Gen Zers who think they're the absolute shit and non-ironically share photos that even the most debased and immoral members of society should never be forced to look at. I'd show you some photos, but then again, YouTube gods no likey. You've got your conspiracy theorist Gen Xers, many of whom like to put on their little tinfoil hats and rant about how the Democratic Party's run by lizards, you know, like Mark Zuckerberg. You've got your ultra-vocal fundamentalist Christians, and let me just say before I get into this real quick, this by no means applies to a majority of Christians at all. Hell, this doesn't even apply to a minority of Christians. This applies to like a minority of a minority, and a majority of that minority are actually pretty decent people, if just a little bit patronizing. That out of the way, this small but vocal group are hellbent, you see what I did there, on letting the entire world know that God does look at your Facebook. And if you don't click like or share on this broken English, poorly photoshopped photo of Jesus right now, then you worship Satan and you probably deserve to burn in hell. Because of course, it's not like God has more important things to worry about right now, right? And finally, oh God, the absolute worst category of hyperusers, meme-sharing boomers. Meme-sharing boomers, or MSBs as we'll call them for the purpose of this video, ultimately have no idea how to use the internet, and really don't even have an idea what an internet is. But regardless of this, regardless of their complete lack of understanding, they love Facebook, and boy oh boy do they let you know it. And how do they let you know it? By posting memes, of course. But these memes are no ordinary memes. Oh, no. These memes are much worse. These memes will invade your mind and gradually rob you of your will to live. These memes have... minions. Oh shit, what have I done? Oh fuck, no, what have I done? Oh shit! No! Oh god, no! Okay, so I have to admit, Twitter is probably the lowest on my list of social media platforms that I hate. In fact, you could maybe even say that I like it. But if you did, you'd still be wrong. That being said, Twitter has a lot going for it in comparison to Facebook. It's simple and easy to use. The interface is sleek and modern looking. The Twitter DMs are actually within the fucking app as they should be, because why would it make sense to put them anywhere else, right? And unlike Grandpa Facebook, Twitter posts have a character limit, making unnecessarily long and patronizing rants much more cumbersome, although still not impossible. But Twitter still isn't perfect. What? Why did that? Okay. Yeah. But Twitter isn't perfect. In fact, most of its problems have to do with this magical little thing called the trending tab. Yes, the trending tab. The central hub of Twitter where you can see exactly what everybody's talking about around the country and across the world 24/7, 365. Sounds great, right? Of course not. It's fucking awful. The problem with the trending tab is not necessarily the mechanics of the feature itself, but more what tends to show up on it. You see, another way that Twitter differs from Facebook is its user base. While Facebook generally caters to a bunch of old fucks who are largely or completely out of touch with reality, Twitter caters to a much younger demographic of users. And boy, oh boy, you know what that means, right? Pure fucking pinup angst. That's what that means. A shit ton, garbage ton of angst. And this is an angst that manifests itself across the site in multiple different ways. I think my favorite way is when somebody starts a hashtag that other people don't like, motivating a fuck ton of users to start this massive smear campaign against the original hashtag, using it in the process, and in turn making it look like to any outsider that they're promoting this hashtag, when in reality, they're just using the hashtag to shit on the OP while showering them with massive amounts of unnecessary attention, in turn giving validity to the very thing that they were trying to hate against. It's just a massive paradoxical circle jerk where everybody gets a chance at the money shot. And while Twitter doesn't have an exact equivalent to the Facebook MSB's the things, it does have something that's a pretty close second, and I'll bet you can guess what it is.
Is it A, the Twitter logo, B, overtly political Twitter accounts, C, annoying challenge trends, or D, Howard Stern's penis? Answer now.
Fucking wrong. They're all completely fucking wrong. It's obviously Stan Twitter. The way I see it, Stan Twitter is a lot like the sinking of the Titanic, except instead of being a horrible unforeseen accident that resulted in the deaths of thousands of innocent people, Stan Twitter just makes you wish that you died in a horrible unforeseen accident so that you didn't have to think about the fact that it does actually exist. If you're unaware of what Stan Twitter is, picture a bunch of angsty teenage girls starting a massive quasi-religious cult based around either one specific celebrity or a group of specific celebrities, and then blasting their mega angsty, sometimes a little bit TMI, thoughts and opinions about said person or people all across the internet for everybody to see. You got that? Great. Now imagine that everybody involved in this is also rabid. Stan Twitter takes celebrity worship to an entirely new fucking level. I mean, oftentimes it practically borders on insanity, to the point where many of the community's tweets that I've come across have actually made me a little bit concerned for the OP's mental well-being. Look, I'm not going to go too hard after these stands, mainly because there's already like 3 billion videos out by well-known creators talking about how cancerous and insane they are. Not to mention that many, if not the vast majority of them, are probably minors, which I'm not really into that whole bullying children thing. If you want to watch somebody bullying children, go watch Leafy or some shit. All of that being said, the culture in and around Stan Twitter is obsessive, obnoxious, and legitimately pretty unhealthy. Celebrity worship, or really any kind of worship of your fellow human beings, is absolutely insane, and I don't think it takes some 19-year-old dumbass broke college student on the internet to tell you that shit. I legitimately hope that the people on Stan Twitter either grow out of it or they seek professional fucking help. Instagram. Who doesn't love Instagram? Me, stupid. You read the title of the video, right? Instagram is like a weird hybrid of all the other social media platforms, kind of a chameleon, if you will. It has the dependency on hashtags and keywords of Twitter, the temporary content features of Snapchat, which it blatantly fucking stole, and the absolute what the fuck did I just watch factor of Facebook. But more on that later. What are the positives of the app? Well, like Twitter, the interface is relatively simple, easy to use, and pleasant to look at. Instagram is also extremely, and I cannot stress this enough, extremely good for selling shit. I mean, there's a reason why all these opportunistic influencer assholes have popped up all over Instagram like fucking fungus on a decaying corpse. Also, follow me on Instagram at JackAttack and click the link in my bio if you want to buy my limited edition t-shirts, mugs, drink coasters, body pillows, hand soap, indoor rugs, firewood, hot sauce. Here's the thing though. Unlike Facebook or Twitter for the most part, Instagram is, and really has been for a while, increasingly focused on creating a community of content creators more in the vein of YouTube or Vine or, God, I want to shoot myself every time I say it, TikTok, rather than being purely an app based around photo sharing like it was when it was initially founded. And while diversifying their portfolio may seem a decent idea on paper, one of the extremely annoying results of this is the creation of, and ultimately the current state of, possibly the most cursed feature across all the big 3 social media apps. That's right, you guessed it, the Instagram Explore page. The Explore page is, at least according to Instagram's developers, the place where everybody can go on the app to see the most entertaining, amazing content possible. Yippee! In reality, it's a steaming pile of cow shit consisting almost entirely of videos and photos created by robots who probably want to sell you something. It's sort of like one of the developers was just like, hey, you know what would make this app 1 billion times better? And everybody else was just like, no, what? And the guy was just like, what if we stole the recommended videos feature from YouTube and turned it into an entire page where content is chosen to suit each individual's personal taste by a group of lobotomized blind chimpanzees who may or may not be working as spies for the Chinese government. And everybody else was so ready to go home at the end of the day, they were just like, yep, sounds like a great idea, see you tomorrow. I think even worse than the mechanics of the Explore page itself, though, are the opportunistic assholes who know how to exploit it properly. Because the thing about Instagram is there's no fancy video titles or anything like on YouTube, so that's one way of clickbaiting gone completely out the window. So how do they get around this? By using extremely deceptive and sometimes outright false thumbnails, that's how. You see, what these crafty motherfuckers have figured out is that as long as you have an image as the first frame of a video, even if it's only on screen for like half a fucking second, it will be the thumbnail of the video. And as a result of this feature, they can take completely random images which have literally nothing to do with the video you're about to watch and set it as the first frame so it looks like you're about to watch one thing, when in reality the other 1,799 frames, that's roughly 1 minute of video at 30 FPS for anybody who cares, are actually a really shady advertisement either for some mobile ad or fucking teeth whitener. Small side rant. I cannot tell you how many fucking times I've clicked on a thumbnail on Instagram only for it to end up being an ad for fucking teeth whitener. Why teeth whitener? I'm fine with my teeth. I mean, I know they're a little yellow, but I mean, not that bad, jeez. And I don't mean the reputable stuff made by Crest that you can get at your local fucking Walgreens. Oh, no. I mean this clear paste shit that looks like fucking melted plastic that these models, these beautiful face models with only slightly yellow teeth, rub all over their chompers for them to magically and miraculously turn porcelain fucking white. In addition to these outright scams, you have some other content that is almost as shady and only slightly less irritating. There's the satisfying video accounts that post videos of things that are supposedly satisfying, but in reality are really just bizarre and kind of disgusting. Oh wow, look how satisfying this is. Look at Seriously, what fucking timeline am I in right now? And of course, to top it all off, at the peak of this mountain of fucking shit, you have the queen of it all. Lele fucking Pons. Let's be real here, though. There's no point in me going into copious amounts of detail trashing Lele fucking Pons. I mean, this video is probably already going to be like 15 minutes long, so I'll spare you. For now. What I will say is I haven't seen a single legitimately non-ironically funny Lele Pons video for as long as I've been aware of her. And that's a pretty long time. If by long time you mean like a year, and that's like a decade in social media time, right? Now, does that necessarily make her a horrible human being who should delete her Instagram account and never post a single piece of comedy content ever again? No, of course not. It just makes her a probably decent person that should delete her entire Instagram account and never make a single piece of comedy content ever again. But hey, that's all I know for now. I know that this video was vastly different than the last one in almost every way imaginable, so if you clicked on this and watched it all the way through, I really appreciate it. As someone who's new to this whole video content creation thing, it really means a lot that people are actually willing to watch the shit that I put out. I've decided that I'm not going to promote a charity this week. However, I will end my video by just encouraging everybody who has local businesses in and around the area you live to please go support them. This whole COVID thing has hit local businesses extremely hard. I mean, many of these people are losing like their entire life savings, their entire life's work. So if you've got local businesses that you love around where you live, go show them that love and support them with your business. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. If we get to 523 likes on this video, and I mean 523 exact fucking likes on this video, no more, no less, I will cut myself up into itty-bitty tiny little pieces and feed myself to a live, hungry polar bear for your amusement. For now, though, I'm going to go be the massive fucking hypocrite that I am and browse Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for hours and hours and hours and hours on end. Peace.